Hi everyone, Letty here, Party Planner Papery. I have the November 2025 sheet load of cards. There's a special collab this month, so stay tuned. This is my creative team project share video. Welcome back everyone. So I'm on the creative team for the sheet load of cards, and this is by Call Me Crafty Owl. It is a normally 2-page sketch. This month it's actually a 3-page sketch because she's also going to give us an alignment helper and like a little bit of a bonus. And so this is a sketch that Alicia over at Call Me Crafty Owl releases every month. There is an entire team of participants that are on this creative team, and I will link everybody's channels down in the description box below. There's also a playlist where you can see everybody's sort of take on the sheet load for this month, and I'll link it at the very end. It'll be somewhere right here. If you wait till the very end, it'll be right here at the very end of the video. So for this month, this is the November 2025 sheet load. This one is again a 3-pager. This one actually is a special edition. We're using 6x6 papers, but it's also extra special because we are doing a collab this month, or Alicia did a collab with Sarah over at Sassy's LLC. And so if you're not familiar with her, definitely check her out. I'll have her channel linked down below, but it's also right here on the printout, so you can check that out too. The way that it works is Alicia is giving us a card sketch. She gives you all of your supplies, and then she also gives you cutting guides. And then the bonus is you're going to get an alignment. So this sketch is a little bit different because you're going to have strips sort of coming in at a zigzag on one of the mats. And so as like a little guide, as a template, she actually gives it to you here. So you could put your card right on top and then layer your mat, and then layer your strips. And then of course you trim off the edges and finish out your card. So this one's a super fun one. I will tell you, this is going to be one of my new favorites because the main part of these strips right here are 4 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And when I'm cutting my A2 size mat, I always have this same exact size strip. I always just throw it on the inside of my card, but it's going to be super nice to be able to use some of those extra scrap strips to make additional cards. So this is going to be one that's going to be a keeper. I'm going to put it in my stash and use it, I think, quite often. But let me go ahead and go over the cards. And so one of also the bonuses that came this month is you do get some digital papers. If you are signed up for Alicia's newsletter, you actually will get the digital bonus papers. You get 3 different papers that you can use. Now, if you are a channel member of Alicia's channel, which is again, Call Me Crafty Owl, here's the link, and I'll have it linked down below. You actually get a ton of papers. There's 15 different papers that go with it, or you can go to the blog and download that as well. So this is a really great bonus because you're going to get those digitals, and let me tell you, they are gorgeous. I opted to use the digitals for this month. Now, one of the things too is Sarah also did give us some sentiments, and so of course the sketch comes with a sentiment you're going to put right here in the middle. And I've already printed out not only the papers. I used 4 papers to make my cards today. Ended up with 11 cards, plus 1 bonus card. You'll see it at the end. And then she also did give us some sentiments. And so again, all of it will be included, I believe, in that when you sign up for Alicia's newsletter. You can get the sample. If you're a member, then you'll get the full list of all of the additional sheets. But I did print 2 sheets of the sentiments, and I printed 4 sheets of the actual sheets of digital paper from Sarah. So make sure you check that out. Let me go ahead and show you my cards. Okay, so I thought they turned out really pretty. I'm loving the digital papers. I love how they coordinated. I did opt for a couple of designs from the member exclusive sort of set, just because I wanted something a little bit lighter. But if you want something darker, you definitely can go with some of these other ones. Or if you are just signed up for that newsletter, you can get some of these other green ones as well. So I thought those turned out super cute. As far as the cards, I think here's a side-by-side of what my card looks like versus Alicia's template here. Now, I did use a scallop punch that I had in my stash. This one is like a 3-inch punch, and it's by the Paper Studio. I don't know if you can see it. But it is an old one that I had in my stash. I brought in some cardstock from my stash, and then I also did bring in some gold flat back pearls that I used to embellish the corner here. There's no embellishments on this, but you can absolutely add whatever you want. You can pop it up with foam dimensional tape as far as the sentiment here, this little scallop circle. You could change it and make it a square sentiment. You can kind of make it your own. So I did stick very close to the original, but again, I added some little embellishments. I didn't do anything to the insides of the cards for now. I just left it as is because I was able to use up all of the paper that I had printed. So I printed again 4 of those digital sheets, 4 of these sheets, and they are a little bit larger than 6 by 6. And the way that I cut it down, following the template, but then also just adding a little bit of extra cuts, I was able to make 11 of these cards with the 4 sheets. I did have 4 little scraps. I'll show you one bonus card that I had at the very end, but let me show you these real quick. So this is the November 2025 sheet load. I think they turned out super cute. This is one of the sentiments that comes from Sarah's, the Sassy LLC's printable digital. I think they turned out super cute. I definitely did use the template to kind of figure out where to put my strips. It was pretty easy once you kind of got started and you started doing more of them. I will tell you, my first one, I don't know which one it was, but my first one was horrible. But I think it got better as I went along. I did try to use a ton of the ones that say thank you, as far as the sentiment, just because I wanted to have a good little set of thank you cards. Now, I will say they all look exactly the same, because again, I use the same pattern papers and I use the same little sentiments. So those were my regular like sheet load cards. Now, I mentioned that I had a scrap. And so when you're cutting down your 6 by 6 paper, or in this case, it was like a 6 1/4 by 6 1/4, you cut down your strips, but you're going to end up having this strip right here. What I did was I cut it down to 4 inches again, and I got some more strips out of here, which is why I have 11 cards instead of just like 8 or 6 or whatever it was. I think it was 8. And so from 4 sheets. So I cut this down. I got a few more strips out of this, and then I was left with like a little square right here. And so what I did with that square was I went ahead and I just made one additional bonus card. So I had one square from each of the 4 pattern papers that I had printed after cutting down all the other strips. I thought this turned out super cute. I'm loving the additional thicker border on the edge. You can kind of see the difference here. I think what I'll do the next time I make this sheet load is I'm going to go ahead and create just a tiny bit of a wider border on these cards. So instead of the 5 inches by 3 3/4, I think I'm going to do 4 inches by 5 1/4 on my larger mat that's on the outside. I think this looks beautiful, but I'm not a big fan of the white space. And so I think this looks a little bit more to my liking as far as my border, tastes. But I did use one of the sentiments here. I also brought in that 3-inch punch from the Paper Studio. I added 3 little gold flat back pearls there. I had this scrap left over when I was cutting down these mats because again, I had like 11 cards, so it was kind of weird. So I had a big chunk of paper that was left at the very end. And so this is what I did. I added the mat, I added the 4 little squares on top of that, and I was able to make this card. So all in all, I did get 12 cards from the 4 sheets that I printed, plus of course some sentiments. I do have a ton of sentiments left over. I'm gonna just keep those in my stash. But I feel like this was such a really fun sheet load, and I think it really did turn out good, and I'm really excited about the width of these strips because again, I have a ton of these in my stash, and I have some papers that I want to some packs that I want to smash this month. I definitely think I'm going to use this template to make some more of these cards. So I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you check out the collab list. I'll have it linked down in the description box below. There will also be a playlist right here in just a few seconds at the very end of the video. You can click on it and get to everybody who is in the collaboration team and kind of get their take on the sheet load. They might have used these digital papers. They might have only used the printable sentiments. They might have gone completely different in a totally different direction and used something totally different. You might see some horizontal layouts as opposed to vertical. You might see a whole bunch of different just fun twists and turns on it. So it's really always super fun to check out the entire team. I'll have that linked at the very end. Make sure you also go check out Alicia's channel, Call Me Crafty Al. I'll have that link down below so you can get a copy of this sheet load. After a while, they do go into the vault, and so you won't be able to get it. So make sure you get it while you can. Well, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you take out those scraps, make this card, or go check out and get those digitals, and you can also make this set of cards. Again, I used 4 sheets plus sentiments to make 12 total cards, 11 of the sheet load plus 1 bonus. So, and by the way, this card was a 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 card and envelope combination that I had picked up on clearance from Hobby Lobby. So in case you were curious about that square card. But thank you so much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. And as always, happy crafting. Thanks so much for visiting, everyone. Right here on the left is the Creative Team playlist. Make sure you check it out to see how everybody's cards turned out. Happy crafting!